Sam's thing is pretty good. Wait, did he change the title for it? Oh, the title and thumbnail were different. Okay.
I hope all is well.
All right, let's watch Sam's video. I heard this one's pretty good. Overwatch 2 Cancellation is worse than you think.
Overwatch 2 was canceled this week. And I know what you might think. A lot of people on Twitter have sat there and said, oh, Overwatch 2 is not canceled, streamers. The PvE is still coming out. You're lying. This is clickbait. This is manipulation. And I'm telling you.
That is true. The amount of people that claim that is wild. It's actually wild. Learn things in 2 months.
That is a load of horse manure. Overwatch 2 and the reason for Overwatch 2's entire existence was canceled. Anybody who tries to tell you that is not the case are lying through their teeth, especially...
I wouldn't say they're lying. I think that they're trying to be objective and be hopeful, but I think they are being sold.
The people at Activision Blizzard who should be ashamed of themselves for not coming forward with this information at the launch of the game, where allegedly, according to how many people... like Frito from your Overwatch and GameSpot have read from Aaron Keller's words, that they've known that this version of PvE had been canceled since the launch of the game. And while there were many people buying skins from the shop under the assumption, I would say that less people would have been buying battle passes and shop skins had they known, oh yeah, by the way, the whole reason for Overwatch 2's existence and the whole 2 in the game, the PvE, that's been canceled. We're just making a Call of Duty campaign. There is a massive difference between a Borderlands-esque game.
I don't know about the Battle Pass thing. There are definitely people that are going to hindsight it and be like, I would have never bought a Battle Pass, you know, if I knew PvE wasn't coming. I don't know. I don't actually know how many of those are legitimately true. But I will say that he's right with the campaign thing. Yeah, if Overwatch 2's originality was just to be like, oh, we're just making a campaign for Overwatch 2, not a full PvE experience, that you're you're just spewing bullshit, because that's definitely not true.
Skill trees and
what's out here? Things the gifty. Dustin Death thinks it's a
and a Call of Duty campaign that actually was already coming out in Overwatch 1 with the Archives event. So there was no need for Overwatch 2. It was a cash grab marketing scam, SCAM, that made them abandon the first game for years and just try to cash grab reskins.
God, I love Sam. Sam's so fucking funny. This shit.
An upgraded shop, battle passes, which I'm okay with if they're actually fair, which this one was not, and it ruined the game integrity, which we'll talk about in a minute as to how.
I actually think the battle pass is pretty good, other than the hero thing. The hero thing's different.
But anybody who tries to tell you that this has not been the biggest manipulation and scam in multiplayer gaming history is lying through their teeth. And we're going to talk about today and really break down the changes from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 and the reality of it now that we know the reason for the 2 no longer exists.
By the way, I love how Sam put in the biggest Echo Ego VOD in the background I have ever seen. This dude's actually playing legitimate fucking plat players.
And let's take a look at just how scummy and bad
and Yeetle.
This actually is.
It's plat players and Yeetle.
Let's talk about the removal of features going into Overwatch 2. And the reason for that is the developers described Overwatch 1's engine as duct tape, and everything that was in it was connected by the roll. You couldn't reach in and grab something out of the middle of the roll of duct tape and just put it somewhere else.
They have GMs as well? Yeah. So plat players. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm sorry.
It only exists in the roll of tape. So there's a reason why the rank system wasn't just copy-pasted. A rank system that people liked in
Flats,
Overwatch
how
1.
Are you?
It was not
Got my last final
Overwatch
tomorrow,
2.
let's go.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm actually going to mute alerts so we can get this vid, because I don't have to keep pausing.
Because they had to remake the entire thing, because they had to remake an engine for the idea of Overwatch 2. Hence why we now have a worse version of Ranked, which everybody has pretty much accepted is worse. There's no SR in the top 500 parts of the leaderboard, so you can't see how many games you need to go up to actually pass somebody. People were tied for rank 1 at the equivalent of 5,000 SR throughout many of the seasons. The matchmaker was busted, right?
True, it still is.
At season 4 right now.
It's less so now,
but put out a fix to actually have your rank update and go up. Like I was winning 5 games, going 5-0 and D-ranking on the top 500 leaderboard.
Yeah, true.
So you can't even tell if you're winning and losing anymore. It's just
true. I have so many theories of why that worked that way, but
casualified. It's Overwatch Lite. It's ranked light. And you're going to hear me refer to Overwatch Lite a lot throughout this video because that's what Overwatch 2 is. It's a trimmed down version of Overwatch 1 marketed falsely as a new game. It is not a new game. It is an update. It is Overwatch 0.9, I dare say. I know Donkey was saying Overwatch 1.5, but if you really think about what I'm about to break down to you, it's a downgrade at every level for the PvP. So
Overwatch 0.9, oh
but
no.
Because of that duct tape-like model, they had to remake everything starting with the rank system, and if you remember, there's a reason why LFG feature is not there anymore. There's a reason why the workshop wasn't really apparent, right? Because all of these things had to be redone.
Yeah, they basically, as Sam was saying, they basically said everything needed to be rebuilt.
Because of how Overwatch is made. So we really have lost features. We're just now getting back the on fire system. We're going to continue to get more updates.
That's a really good point though. Like it's crazy how many things we lost in the transition that we're just now getting back now as new content. You know what I mean?
Time goes on, but you're slowly seeing these things be reverted to exactly how they were in Overwatch 1. For example, now they added the feature finally where you can see the rank of the match you're in competitive, which you could not before. You didn't even know the average rank of the competitive game you were queuing.
You don't even know your own competitive
rank.
rank.
Our rank border. Did you grind a lot of Overwatch 1, the thing that made you feel special? Well, now, sorry, we can't have anybody be feeling special for their border that they played thousands of hours of Overwatch for. Like, I had just hit Diamond border at the end of Overwatch 1. I felt great about my border. It looked awesome.
True, I was also a Diamond border, Andy.
They literally just straight up removed it, and you can't even see the data of your previous seasons of playing Overwatch from season 1.
Yeah, that shit was wild. I actually can't believe more people didn't scream about that. About all the fucking shit that got removed in Overwatch 1. I was very lucky, and then I had a feeling that some reason shit wasn't going to transfer over. Just a feeling. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some screenshots of my old profile just to be safe. And then everything from like season 31 into the past, like 3029, all that got wiped. It's so sad. It actually is so sad. Imagine just losing all your progress in a game. Like, if you think about single player games, like when you were a kid, if you played a lot of single player games, like on your Xbox, PlayStation 2, whatever, if you, and this happened to me when I played BioShock Infinite, if you played a game for a long time and then none of your progress saved, you might not ever pick that game up again because you're like, fuck that game. I lost all my progress and that wasn't even my fault. Like, fuck you. Right? I'm surprised more people didn't say that about Overwatch.
To season like 33. I think now you can only see it season 35. And there were 36 seasons of Overwatch before it shut down. So all of that history is just gone. You can't see it. It's gone. They took it out. So the seasons that I was rank 1 and my...
You said you got trolled by people because I was gold to the gold border and somehow unacceptable to some people. I don't really miss it, to be honest. Well, that was actually the reason they cited it, was because people were using it as a weapon against other players. Like, oh, you're so high level and you're bad at the game. Ho, ho, ho. And it's like... I mean, to be fair, that is a good point. That is a good point, but like... To remove, like, levels at all, because people, like, use them as, like, oh, you play the game so much and you're not even good. It's like, I don't know how to describe it to you. We don't have anything that's that different nowadays. Like, you can pretty much figure out how old somebody is if they have, like, the fucking season 1 Genji skin. It's like, oh, you've been playing season 1 and you're still gold? You know, like, it's a little less obvious, of course, but it's like, they still technically exist, and I don't know, I feel like if you let bad actors ruin every good thing, at some point we just have a blank slate, and it's kind of boring. You know what I mean? I hear you, though.
Get Overwatch 1, all of those years of work, you can't even flex it. You can't even do that. They took it out of the game. There's less substance.
It was like the idea behind private profiles. Like, private profiles originally were to hide because people would get bullied into playing certain things, right? Like, so like, let's say you're someone who plays a lot of support, and then you queued into a game of ranked, and you tried to pick DPS. Like, your teammates would check your profile, see that you're like a support player, and be like, "What the fuck you doing on DPS? Get off, bitch!" But you're actually a DPS player for the last few seasons, but you decided to flex and fill for your team the last, like, 6 or 7 games at the beginning of the season, and now all of a sudden everyone thinks you're a support player. That actually happened to me. I was a DPS player originally. And then I ended up playing a little bit of tank. I was really good at it. And people were like, why don't you play more tank? Like, you play tank. And I was like, I don't play tank. I literally have like 4 hours on all my tank characters combined. And so that's how I actually ended up doing more of it, because people needed to fill into ranked games sometimes. But yeah, anyways.
Right? And so now...
But like, did that solve people flaming people for their characters? No.
I'm just going to say it. 6v6 was better. It was
Sam is smoking to copium though. Like, listen, I love 6v6. I'll tell you right now, I really miss being able to wake up every morning and then DM Emong and be like, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm already playing ranked. And I go, yeah, you're psychotic. I'll see you in 2 hours. And then I hop on 2 hours later, play up some games, play some games. We play for like 5-6 games or so. We go like 4-2 on the day. And then I go, all right, buddy, that's my fucking fair share of Overwatch for today. I can't take any more. And then I hop off. It was a good time. Now I just play by myself or occasionally car queue at night, whatever it ends up being. That was a lot more fun. But to say 6v6 was better than 5v5, that's cope.
better. You could do more. Tanking was more fun. And you can't tell me that
tanking was more fun.
That everyone was asking for.
I'd argue that's
6v6,
possibly true.
Shocker, this development team never did. Do you want to know why? Because
tank in Overwatch 2 is low-key miserable. You have to legitimately play perfectly. And you can make a lot of mistakes on the other roles and be okay. You cannot make those mistakes on tank. I have played DPS and support in GM. Shocker. I know. And I found it way less stressful, and I actually could make mistakes and still win games. But when I play tank, if I fuck up one cooldown rotation or I don't swap right away when I need to, game's over.
Didn't have people capable of balancing the game. The same thing I've said since 2019. Double shield was fixable.
True.
You don't do it by nerfing
Jeff was fucking terrible. Jeff Goodman was not the fucking balance connoisseur. I will say not Jared. What's his name? The new guy. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking. The new guy with balance. I still disagree with his break changes. That's why she's literally like Alec, I'm stupid. Thank you. I still disagree with his break changes. The fucking break changes are ass to play against. It just makes tank even less fun to play. And it just basically made her a must pick in Overwatch League. And that probably will translate through the ladder too once Overwatch League starts playing on the same patch that we start playing on. Even though you already see a ton of break on ladder anyways, but not the point. Other than that, honestly, he's done a pretty good job.
That have the best shields in the game.
As much as I hate to say it, like, balance-wise, Overwatch 2 hasn't been that bad.
How about you don't give them the best sustain abilities in the game as well?
Granted, there are definitely some exceptions, but
Orisa Fortified, they removed the ability to headshot it, and
it's way better than it was Overwatch 1.
And Sigma
That's
Grass was unpierceable by most characters. So the only downside that should have been there for characters that have shields and range
Hog was left over from Overwatch 1.
And they don't have sustain, allowing if you want to refer to Yeedle's video about Overwatch comps explaining the cycle of comps, when they gave the bunker comps the best sustain in the game, they were unbeatable by dive, which by dive should be what beats or does well into
Mercy Season 3 was awful. True. I agree with you. But they went back and changed it, which is like old Overwatch team. They never wanted to admit they were wrong. We just deal with it for a year.
There was no way to break it. But the devs, they weren't smart enough to fix this. Do you want to know why? Because they don't understand their own game. And finally, if people aren't coming out and talking about how incompetent not just Activision Blizzard are, but this dev team is too, I'm sorry, cut the malarkey. This is DEF CON 5. It's done. They've showed what they're capable of, and it's not much.
I don't totally agree with that, but like Sam also has some points.
I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's not.
Sam has some points there. I don't totally put everything on him. I think Aaron inherited a lot of these problems. But there are a lot of times I hear decisions and I go, what the fuck are you guys doing? But I will say though, this dev team is way more in touch with Overwatch than the previous one. And I say that because like they've doubled their team size in the last like year and a half, and they had a ton of rollover. All over the place. And I will say it's way more in touch than it used to be, but Sam's still kind of nailing it. We're still way behind everybody else.
All on Activision Blizzard because this mess was created by
and like the mess is already so fucked. So, it's like what becomes too little, too late. You know,
simpler Overwatch Lite. 5v5 is Overwatch Lite compared to 6v6. It's a simpler version of the game.
They're over for good reason. They had it coming. I didn't say they didn't.
Synergy. There's less synergy in general, and also you've got heroes behind play and paywalls for the new model. So right now, the big fear about having characters be locked in competitive.
Yeah, a few seasons down the line,
DLC heroes becomes hard meta, kind of like Junker Queen is right now. And people, certain tanks, just have to sit there and say, "Oh, sorry guys, I don't have Junker Queen unlocked, and she's the best hero in the game. That is so much worse for PvP. And the only way to get it, if you didn't buy the hero, is to do these hero challenges where, like Ramatra's, you have to queue like 30 games while flexed for all roles. Ramatra, who, by the way, was the best rush tank on the previous patch, who also was locked for people unless you bought the Season 2 Battle Pass.
True.
Season 3, I think. What? Like, this is like in Overwatch 1, if you bought the game, you like the game did a good job of supplying both teams with the equal amount of resources, so it was about player skill. But now, if you're not buying these heroes as they come out, you are at a disadvantage because you either have to play to unlock the character and do these hero challenges that should not exist, right? That should not exist, or just don't have the character and don't have that tool at your disposal. The game integrity of Overwatch has been ruined by this, and we're only in Season 5. This was a
we're
concern
not.
we talked
Sam,
about
we're in Season 4, genius.
Like, more and more of these characters are going to
We're
come out.
not
There's gonna
even
be more and
there
more
yet.
times where certain ones are meta and certain ones are not. And if you don't have the character, especially the higher up you go in the ranks, sorry. Yeah, well, maybe you should.
Oh, he's making the video for next season. True.
Game that, you know, we didn't need to make. And look, I'm okay with maybe having heroes behind the battle pass and the free-to-play track for a little bit, but one season after they're out, or if they end up being strong, or at least in competitive, they should just be unlocked.
Yeah, but how would they ever?
So
yeah, but
now
like
they
the question becomes,
sacrifice-
how would they ever deem like, oh, this character is so strong, we have to give them available to everybody? You know what I mean? Like, at that point, they then become incentivized to make sure that every character
Game
isn't broken at
integrity.
release, and so that, you know, they don't have to worry about that. You know what I
For
mean?
the
Like,
battle
yeah,
pass
there's just
and
that.
monetization.
It's not
So-
gonna happen.
They remove features. The ones they added back are worse. And now,
True.
the heroes, which are the life essence of the game, the developers have said this. Some of them are unobtainable for new players and or players who've been playing for a while if they didn't play in those seasons, or like, you know, for a lot of people who are quitting, waiting for the PvE to come back, who might have missed Ramoxtra, who might have missed Junker Queen, who might have missed all of these things. Now we'll have to go down this horrendous path just to unlock the best characters in the game. Kiriko, another example. That is catastrophic. That is awful. That is objectively worse than Overwatch 1. So,
Yeah.
now you look at the shop, right?
Uh-oh.
Let's go to the shop.
Uh-oh.
The shop is the only thing that actually got upgraded, believe it or not. Who could have guessed? And I'm okay with them making money off the game. I'm not okay with
Fair.
them lying, they didn't lie. They just didn't tell us until now, when allegedly they had known for months that the original vision of PvE would be canceled. And if that announcement had come out, I can assure you, way less people would be buying skins in the shop. Way less people would be buying
I'm not
the
actually
battle
sure
pass.
on that take. I feel like a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that, but I agree that lying by omission is wrong here, and they should have not done that, and that it's still really scummy, and it kind of pisses me off. I don't know how many people would have bought less skins, though, for it, because even so, you gotta remember back at the beginning of Overwatch 2, there was, like, those Reddit hate threads about, like, the Kiriko skin. Remember the bundle? It was, like, fucking $28 or something. People were like, what? People didn't give a fuck about the makings of PvE back then. They didn't care. They wouldn't be like, well, guys, we should buy the skins because they're still making PvE. That's fun. Nobody gave a fuck. Everyone was just mad. Everyone was like, these expensive-ass skins, right? So I don't believe that to be true, to be honest. I do believe that there would have been less people that would have been as excited for the game, and maybe by that, you know, by that comparison, wouldn't have bought as much stuff because they wouldn't have been like, oh, I don't really see a large future in this game, / yeah, they're canceling the whole point of the 2. Like, that's kind of annoying. Like, what am I playing this game for? Just Overwatch 1 with, you know, with a shop update. That would have probably had people buy less stuff. And that's why I would say, yes, I agree with, like, you know, the lying by omission probably is really kind of fucked up in this situation. But I don't believe people were buying skins because they were funding PvE. I think that's kind of cope. I think some people would have said that to, like, justify their buying of the stuff, but
for new characters.
Otherwise, they would have
because
bought it
we're under
anyways.
the assumption that we're going to have that character unlocked and be able to go play their skill trees when the PvE comes out. That is absolutely a reason why you'd want to buy and unlock the character and grind to unlock the character. And they just didn't tell us while many people were buying it. And I was encouraging my community to buy it, not knowing that that rug would get pulled out from under us.
Damn.
I am so sorry to all of my audience who I told that this game actually was going to be good when the PvE came out and all this stuff. I did not know that they were going to do this. And it is so disingenuous as someone who...
To be honest with you, nobody knew, though. Like, Sam's kind of beating up on himself a little bit here. Like, literally none of us knew. How the f could we have never known this? Like...
prides himself on his honesty. And
honestly, it really does suck, though. He's right. He's right, though. Like, a lot of us probably... I mean, some people are more vocal than others, but I know a lot of people kind of feel like they felt like they were sold some snake oil. You know what I mean?
saying what needed to be said no matter what. I'm going to stand by the fact that I was right about this.
Seagull got it 7 months ago? Yeah, Seagull's like a fucking prophet, dude. That dude's, like, literally never wrong, and I don't understand. I saw his thing, though.
For years, I was vilified in this community for my takes. And where are we now? Where are we now? There's a reason why I was so intense about all of this stuff, because this is my greatest fear, and I was right. And I didn't want to be right, but I knew. I watched Mindplex die, but also, funny story, Mindplex and PvE died within 1 day of each other, dude. It's
Yeah,
been a tough
that's
week
a tough,
for me, man. It's
that's
11
a
years of
tough
my
week,
gaming
Sam.
life. Poof. I saw the signs. I know what it's like to see a game fail and go down the wrong path and inevitably end up...
I was vilified. Okay, same. Rein it back in, bucko. Yo, B, I don't mean to be a dick. I truly don't. But I don't really know you. So I could be totally wrong. But I highly doubt you got vilified to any level that Sam has been in the past. I would put some serious fucking money on that.
like this in a place where its reputation is
So to kind of downplay Sam's experiences, because like, oh, I've done the same. Bro, someone responded to on a Reddit post and said, F you, that ain't the same.
Overwatch, well, the once great
Oh, I tried to say Sam and misspelt it.
game's reputation
Sorry.
is now irredeemable. Is the game going to die? No. But it will never, ever again be a tier 1 game.
I thought you were saying like,
Team 4 and
I've
Activision
been
Blizzard
vilified
have
for
done
this
with
stuff
this
too,
game.
Sam. Like,
And that's
I was
just the
like,
reality.
bump the price.
That's just the reality of it. Everything about this game is worse. They manipulated us into thinking that the PvE was still coming out and not telling us to make more people buy the skins. They downgraded
You're
all
good,
of their
you're good, you're
systems,
fine, you're
and
fine.
they're slowly working them back to what they were in the first game. So there was no reason to halt content for years. There was no reason to cancel.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to replay that really fast, but Sam's spitting right here. This is actually very important.
That the PvE was still coming out and not telling us to make more people buy the skins. They downgraded all of their systems, and they're slowly working them back to what they were in the first game. So there was no...
That's what I don't like. That's why I really didn't like their wording on a lot of the stuff. It's like, you're getting more than ever before. No. That's bullshit, dude. Like, that is fucking bullshit. It's actually the same release schedule it had 7 years ago when it came out. It's no different. The only thing is now is, oh, we're going to work in some PvE. No, that's bullshit. It's not even real PvE. It's a campaign. Like, it's not highly replayable. It's not what was promised years ago. You're working in the same updates from 7+ years ago that was meant to be, right? It was meant to be 7 years ago. Then they slowly slowed it down because they started to work on their fucking PvE that they wanted to do. Then they stopped all updates to work on the PvE. And now they've just said, oh, well, oopsies, and went back to the original release schedule from 7+ years ago, plus a little bit of campaign missions. To like tout that is like, we're doing more than ever before. Nah,
no reason
I ain't buying it.
For years. There was no reason to cancel Overwatch 1. All of this just should have been what Overwatch was from the very beginning. But the more...
I do... God, I don't want to sound like a corpus shill. I hope this doesn't sound like a corpus shill. I almost wonder, though, now that all this... It's almost like going to therapy with like a really, really bad relationship, right? And it's like, dude, now everything's out in the open. Everyone said all their feelings. Everyone's like... hashed it all the fuck out, and like they seem committed to fixing it, and you know, you're kind of broken and kind of a little bit emotional and damaged right now, and it's like, but you do love the game or them, and it's like you also kind of want to fix it, but you don't want to get hurt anymore. like, do you almost give them the chance, but at the same time, you don't want to be the idiot that gets, you know what I mean? You don't want to get hit twice. So you're almost like, I don't know, which one do you choose? I won't lie, it is stuff I've thought about, because there is a lot of the people on the new Overwatch team that I do like. I do think they're smart people, but the top corpa, dude, I think will always just get in the way, and the PR speak, it just disgusts me. So I don't know if I can.
The moral of this story is the following. This is why big game companies, at least like Activision, should not be publicly traded. Because when it gets to the point where you're downgrading your game and reskinning it just to make money and resell it, when you're not providing the features that you promised, the quality of your products decline, and you lose your integrity to your community, and you lose the faith of your customer. And that is what the Overwatch, that is what Blizzard has done with Overwatch. They have lost the faith of their consumer. They've lost the faith of anybody. These guys are not trustworthy. They are not people.
Sam makes a really good point there, actually. And they do actually time, any company does this. They have to time announcements and releases based on their reporting schedule for shareholders. Like, they need to puff numbers right before or after shareholdings earnings or quarterly reports, or like, there's a reason why the iPhone comes out every September, right? Why do you think the iPhone comes out every September? Because they can talk about it in this third quarter report. Then fourth quarter is just like tons of sales from the holidays of October, November, December, and they just pump their fucking numbers to the moon. You know what I mean? Like, it's all done on purpose. It's the same thing everywhere. So the timing of PvE's, announcement is probably a good time, because think about it. They just had to take the blow for losing China and having a big drop off in its monthly active users. So it's like kind of ripping the Band-Aid off all at once, you know?
You want to bet on, and there should be a class action lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for the lies that
I don't know if that'll happen.
The years and the misleading of the communities that, in my opinion, is irredeemable. And this proved that Overwatch 2 never needed to happen. Overwatch 2 caused irreparable damage to this game's reputation, its community, its integrity, and
that shit was already gone, though, Sam.
There's got to be some changes made, at least to the game integrity. At least get these heroes. No character should be locked in this game now. You should only have to pay for what you guys deliver, and you guys didn't deliver anything. You delivered a hollow shell of the PvE, the same stuff you were doing before, and you made the PvP worse too in a game that's riddled with bugs that didn't exist in the previous game, because you had to remake everything, a ranked system that is objectively worse, features that were stripped away for no reason other than the fact of making a new engine for a new game. This is the most disgraceful.
Do you think Overwatch League team owners will step in because Blizzard is also effectively cucking them? They're a bunch of billionaires. I really don't give a fuck about them, to be completely honest. But they've already been getting fucked the entire time. That's why a bunch of them have like banded together to do a lawsuit against Blizzard, and they're never gonna really pay their franchising fees. So,
release
but like in point blank, I really don't care about I don't really care about a bunch of bunch of billionaires that really didn't give a fuck about the game anyways. They only cared about chasing what was the esports dream. So I don't really give a shit.
And coming to
just to be honest.
So I'd like to issue an apology to anybody who I gassed up about Overwatch 2. I was misled as well. I should have trusted my gut from all those years ago. But I wanted to give Aaron Keller a chance to prove himself as a leader. And to be fair, all of this is not on Aaron. But man,
smoked by a torch, right?
And you misled us, and you should have been honest from the damn beginning. But here we are. What a shame. What a wasted IP. And anybody who's trying to defend this team or this company at this point are absolutely shills. There is nothing to defend here. This is disgraceful. So I'm so sorry to anybody. I should have stuck to my guns, and I did not. I believed the lies that they told me, and I apologize. I need to be better than that. I need to be sharper than that, and I wasn't. That's on me. So thank you for watching.
Let send me a YouTube apology video.
Overwatch Lite. See you guys next time.
That was kind of, honestly, I shouldn't laugh if that ending was kind of funny. Oh man, that was a classic Sam Ito video.